I don't know what, you sit, you'll see next time.
All right, 4:35, let's call the Drainage Committee meeting to order. Reflect that all members are present. Item number 1, discuss drainage budget for 2024.
This is just some information. You all talked about a piece of equipment last meeting, and I did send an email as far as the budget figure. So it's just to provide that information to you all to be able to make a decision, move forward or not on the equipment. The 50,000 pound. Yeah. So it's up to you all if you want to talk, have a conversation or not.
I think that's probably something we need to wait on purchasing if we're gonna get the general fund.
Oh, it's not a general fund expenditure. This
You
is
look
sitting,
into the road and bridge?
did I look? I mean, it can't be purchased in road and bridge if it's drainage.
Yeah, but you use it for road and bridge as well. Certain projects.
It's for you all to decide if you want to do it 50-50.
So-
But again, I think the overall thing is not so much about the purchase of this equipment, but the rate of expenditures versus revenue in a calendar year.
Right.
That we have to look at and be conscious of.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, I'm more sure we all read the email that Ms. Torres sent out. I started looking at a couple of things that pertains to drainage projects that we have going on. I think someone put on the agenda as it pertains to overtime with drainage projects, things of that nature. I think it's something that we need to look at. We also had an engineer on retainer where we paid him out of drainage. We're looking to go ahead and do a RFQ to get another engineer in here, whoever it may be. So you're gonna have some costs that's coming out of that drainage tax. And also based off what she's talking about and making us aware, it's possible we can be in a bind. So we really need to look at that drainage fund based off the estimate that she's given. Look at the drainage projects that you have out there, that we have out there, that we're trying to do. We're looking at the overtime, we're looking at all kind of things that pertain to drainage. So I think we need to take a look at it before something crawls up behind us and we be in the bond. That's just my.
And just to add to that statement, and what I want you all to be aware, which I think you all know, but I don't think you realize truly the magnitude of it, is that every ward has an allocation, which we're well aware of. But there's so much general drainage expenditures that takes place on a daily basis throughout the entire parish, from Ward 1 all the way to Ward 9. It's a tremendous impact to this budget. So it's way beyond just drainage projects that you all get approved. That's hitting this budget. It's a lot. And the
Can you
more
get us
pumps
some
we
numbers
get,
on
the
that
more, what's
for
that?
next- Can you get us some numbers on that for next
Well,
meeting, Ken?
I got you $1 million a year. $1 million a year and take out your allocation right off the back of what? 275,000 for the drainage projects, and you had 750, seven and a
So
quarter
we have $1 million per year for drainage.
expenditures. The drainage projects, the allocation is 275 annual. We only have one employee that is designated as a drainage employee to which full salary and benefits is attached to that fund. Everybody else that is coded there is based on where they work. When they working on drainage, that salary does go there. So it's a lot.
All right, give us some examples of what's hitting the general drainage.
Every single pump repair that's out there, sometimes whether it's in a drainage district or not, most of the time, 100% of the time, if there is no designated drainage district, that's general drainage. Okay, all the time, because there's no other funding source. And there are some districts, some times they might perform maintenance on even a drainage district to assist them. And that labor or some of those parts or supplies hit general drainage.
Every time we sweep right of ways, anytime we sweep ditches, anytime we do any type of sweeping, that's all drainage.
It's all drainage. Utilities
Correct.
for pumps, anytime we have to pay for those, that's That's
Anything
general.
drainage related, just about.
Yeah, anything and everything drainage related.
Can you get us a breakdown per ward, what it's costing?
Oh, no,
That's hard to do
no,
that.
that is actually illegal to do as
Yeah,
well.
you can't do it, yeah.
This is very questionable right here, what we do with this allocation, but we are supposed to.
Yeah, I don't think this, we
It
should be
isn't.
doing
We are
this.
supposed to allocate based on need, not on based on ward.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Right, so to be able to pull that, there's no way, because invoices do not necessarily state the location.
So I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I will now. So why are we doing it like this?
It's a good question. It's an internal document. This allocation has been set up for
Well.
30+ years. And until this jury makes the decision to go away from it and allocate based on need, this is the process we've been
Well, I
following.
mean, I think it was done in all fairness,
try to keep it
throughout the
balanced.
parish.
Try to
I
keep
think
it
that's the whole reason. I don't think it was done out of any other contents. So, I mean, I agree with the way it is.
My point of the
know?
whole statement is, I don't think the issue is the 275,000 allocation to projects. I think the issue is the other expenditures that continually rise. This 275 has been set and stationary for years now. That's not climbing. It's all.
A lot of times we
others.
don't even hit all of it, but the
Well,
last
but
few years.
Last
we've
few
been-
years, and
we've been
look,
in-
again,
we've
that's,
been
that's why in the
shuffling a
past
little
that,
bit.
when you don't spend your money, then obviously there was no need for it. But in the last couple of years, this jury has chosen to give their money to other wards, so the 275 has been fully expended.
Right.
The 275 is not breaking up the fund.
On the balance that's there, the over 700,000, that's basically through your office, right, Paul?
So
So,
100% of it's through my office.
Yeah.
right, no, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, how could we determine if there's areas in there that we need to cut back, or, not necessarily what ward it's being expended in, but the general categories of what it is. And, I know we mentioned
Some type of
overtime,
breakdown on it.
maybe there's too much overtime being charged to drainage that we need to cut back on.
That's one issue. I think the other issue would be, be a little more precise with the drainage districts, knowing what drainage districts have funding and contacting those drainage districts, because we sometimes get a little lax when there's a drainage, there's an issue with a pump or a deck or something, we come out of general drainage allocation. We're not going specific to that drainage district and saying, look, you're responsible for this funding. So that might be an issue we can tighten up our belts on too. Now, I know much of an issue.
They got
with-
money in the funds. They should
Some of
have.
them don't, and that's the thing that puts us in a bind where it's not fair and that's been brought up before, there's a drainage district that that's self-sufficient and they're paying with their own funds, and there's other districts that cannot, and it's coming out of general drainage.
And there's
That's-
also non-drainage
That's not
districts
fair.
that don't have any funds
That ain't
that
fair
they're
either.
contributing to.
Right.
So
That's-
you gotta be fair across the
But
board.
it's always been stated, if ones are trying to help themselves and they need a little
That's
assistance,
correct.
let's go ahead and
That's
help.
what we've
Correct.
always
But here
done.
we are, where does the line get
That's
drawn?
correct.
But
It's a gray area.
I guess the thing that concerns me more about it is the jury is looking at roughly the 250,000 expenditure, but the other 750,000,
It's
there's no
unseen.
oversight.
Yeah,
There's no oversight.
Yeah.
As to what projects is getting spent on, it just gets charged, but so why are we only looking
That's
at
what I would like
25%
to
of
see.
It's
the
not
project?
a
Where's that
project.
750,000 going?
But that's the point. You all have no idea when a part just goes out or something is not
Yes.
working and they get called to go work on it. It's not something that's a project that they report.
It's
To say
basic
it's
maintenance.
Should
basic
still
maintenance.
have the expense on it that we should be able to see.
Well, you
Where
can
it's
see it
going.
if you want. I mean, we got invoices, but are we tallying it per location? No.
I guess the thing that
Accounting is
concerns me
not.
is, do we have timesheets getting completed that it's easier to go into general drainage, so let's just add that to finish the day,
No,
something
no, it
like
doesn't
that.
work that way. We don't, like I say, we have road and bridge, whatever department they're working in is where they're gonna get charged to. It's not that, the basic employee, ground employee doesn't know where, they don't know who they get charged from and just say, we just put this on drainage. It all depends on what job they're doing. With drainage, I have a crew that works drainage almost 100%. There's always sweeping ditches, there's always putting down drainage projects. So there's,
So why do we only have one employee that's 100% drainage if you have a whole crew that's working drainage 100% of the time?
when they work in drainage, they'll get billed to drainage, but they're not exclusively to drainage all the time in the billing. She knows more about the billing than I
Because
do.
they're equipment operators and they may be an equipment operator that's not being used in that capacity, but they're working on a drainage project. So when they're working on a drainage project, their time is not being charged as an equipment operator, it's being charged to that drainage project. But they are an equipment operator, which is technically a road and bridge employee, so everything gets charged to road and bridge. The one employee that is specifically to drainage is the drainage foreman. He is a drainage foreman. That is his job title. So he's charged to drainage along with all his benefits. Other employees, I mean, if I would go work, well, I'm on salary, so it's different, but any road and bridge operator that you take to go work on a specific drainage project, that's hitting drainage. That's not hitting road and bridge.
Correct.
That even pertains to maintenance. If we building a deck or we're doing
That's
something
correct.
that is not considered a project or we're making a repair, it's gonna get charged with drainage.
If
You
they-
have no other avenue.
If they have a road and bridge employee that for some reason is on grass work and they're cutting grass for adjudicated property, that time is getting charged to general fund. Not road and bridge just because they're a road and bridge employee. It's just specific as to what they're working on. I can get you all a breakdown. I can't get you all a breakdown to specify regions and areas. That I can't get you, but I can get you a more defined breakdown as far as salaries, utilities, maintenance, parts, that kind of thing. Something like that, more so than just,
something to show us
something.
where we can see where the money is going.
yes.
Oh, I think that y'all need to start identifying some of these problems, and especially in the drainage district. You go approach these drainage districts and ask, for some help with some of these bills.
So I
And
tell you, when
if
it
the
comes-
and if the drainage district need help from the jury, let them come to the jury and ask for help.
That sounds good on paper, and I understand that, Chris, but if there's 2 weeks away from a meeting and we got a pump that's out and it's raining, they can always come back and ask after, but we gotta get, we try to do the best to protect people's property with the funds we have available and the people we have available, and I understand your point, we could do a little better at going to those districts, but, and it gets back to the point as, if we're gonna make this district pay for their pump repairs, but then we have another district that doesn't have any money, we're gonna repair theirs. And it's kind of like, it's an area that you almost need somebody to just manage that whole thing back and forth. It gets kind of complicated. It gets kind of, tedious, but yeah, we can do a better job at it. I guess we just have to just try our best to do better. But I don't think that in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna
Talking
take
about
up.
drainage districts here,
Hmm?
it takes a lot of funds maybe from us, but how about all these sewer districts that's not paying their share?
Sewer districts are paying, Mara.
Right now,
They've been
Mara,
paying into
Mara, right
something,
now we talking
Mara.
about
No,
drainage.
I-
They've
fund.
been paying
Well,
into
and
then you go to
something.
sewer
Now, maybe
budget.
we may have to
Okay.
go up, but they have
okay.
been paying into
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, let's take
So
you
don't
over
say
there,
they're
Mara.
getting it for free
Wait,
because
but
it
we
never
talk-
happened.
We talking about drainage districts.
never
Let's talk-
happened.
Let's talk about
It
Let's
that.
talk about the city.
Yeah.
What about these ring levels that's getting done that's not in a drainage district? What you gonna do for
Oh,
them?
they aren't in the district.
All of them not in
Mine's
the-
in a district.
All of them not in the drainage
Mine's in a
district.
district.
All of them not in drainage district.
Mine's in a district.
But we even have districts that do not collect enough money to pay their utilities.
Correct.
Period. So they don't even have enough money to pay for their utilities, so they don't have enough money to pay for.
Pump repairs.
And that's just districts
That's the
throughout.
problem.
I mean, that's the reality.
And look,
Our system.
all these people are
Right.
paying a sales tax. 4% of a penny is going to drainage, sales tax, so. They're paying something. Everyone is paying something. So I think we, to cut down on some of this cost, I think, once again, I think whenever the drainage crew go out there, they need to do their job right the very first time. That way they don't have to come back. We need to go back to Simone Street. That wasn't done right whenever they swept out that ditch. So that's another project that we have to go back on and do both sides of the road because it just wasn't done right.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chair, at the same time, we, again, I think this is another part of the meeting, might be in finance. And I don't know, I think you, Mr. Carter, put it on the agenda, the overtime. That needs to stop.
Well, maybe you wouldn't need overtime if they was to do it right the very first time.
What?
Even if they don't do it right the first time, unless it's an emergency job, it shouldn't be done on overtime.
What?
They should be doing it right the very first time.
You're right, but I'm saying is, we got a lot of people working overtime when there's no need for it. It's not an
Because
emergency
there's no
job.
control in that department, that's why. There's no control, no control.
They got control, it just needs to be
They don't have any
streamlined. It
control
needs to
in
be
that department,
streamlined.
Mr. Alcorn.
It needs to be streamlined. Again, I'm not on the
So,
committee.
Mr. LeBlanc, I'm gonna ask you once again, we asked you this 4 years ago, to restructure your department. You never restructured anything that you came back to the board with. So I'm gonna ask you once again to restructure your department and for next meeting, have us something, how you're gonna improve your department. because there's an ongoing problem here. It hasn't happened, hasn't just started 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. It's been years, Paul. It's time something takes place. Some of these guys might not want to say it, but they're gonna say it behind closed doors, but I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
it needs to happen.
So if I come here and tell you that I've thought about a plan, different plans, this could cost $5-10 million. You wanna restructure, I can have a maintenance department and separate the maintenance department and get a building, we need a building, we need a structure, we need a whole department, we need somebody in charge of that department. We need a bridge department, somebody I can put in charge of that department and have, a building operator of, a drainage department hired. We don't have the money, Jamie. I mean,
No, I agree with that. But isn't the maintenance department pretty much separated from what you are now? That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah. Somewhat to a certain extent.
Just see what you can do. Anything else?
Kim, you're gonna provide us the.
I'm making a note. I'll have that for the next meeting. Well, maybe in advance.
And there's something else we could talk, maybe on these projects, maybe if we was to cut down some of this COVID, the expense, instead of replacing the entire job, let's, maybe the homeowner have a certain percentage of the job. We do a COVID change out.
Well, Jamie, you just said residents are paying something.
They are.
So don't go back and double
Yeah,
charge them for
charge-
doing
No, we
something
don't-
they paying
don't
for.
I'm
do
just
that.
saying some,
No.
100 feet of COVID, the
No,
Parish
no,
supply.
if we got some bad COVID
It's
to
just
change-
something to
If we got
think
some
about.
bad coverage, change, we're
No,
gonna change.
don't
it.
do it like that.
However you don't want it. Y'all play
No,
politics,
we
but
ain't
I ain't
changing
a
it now.
politician.
No, I mean.
All right, let's move on. Item number 2, request of approval for culverts to be purchased Parish Street, detour, Ward 2.
Correct. That's,
When we do that project on Parish Street, I have to make a detour on a headland that we got also on the agenda to have a CEA with the landowner. But to make it feasible, I gotta put a few culverts down, so I'm gonna take that out of my drainage fund. It's all part of a drainage project. Total 286440. Not on the committee.
I need a motion.
Say.
Motion by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3, request of approval for overage of gate valves at 2911 Lee Drive. Dock number 93-131, $302.22, 40.
the Ts were a little more expensive and also the lumber for the 4x4s exceeded the invoice my cost estimate.
All right, we'll take that out of Ward 8 drainage.
Motion.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Mathern, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, update on drainage projects, Mr. LeBlanc.
Okay, I hired my guy with the catch basins. He's built 2 of them on highway, the one at Highway 1 at Legion Street, catch basin's been built. Catch basin's been built also at, in Myron's Ward, I think at 30,
Highway 70.
Highway 70. Also, he's gonna start tomorrow on the one on, Medverda and Wade. Davis North Bay pump deck repair was completed. That project is complete. We did one of the gate valves on Lee Drive at Oak Point Street. We also replaced the culvert on Walker Lane. That project is complete. And also we had private jobs. We did 120 feet of culvert installation on Country Village. We did 120 feet of culvert installation on Forest Street. We did 120 feet of culvert installation on Highway 308 and Water 2. We did a 40-foot culvert installation on Oakley Street, on Georgia Plantation, and we swept about 800 feet of the ditch. We also installed 2 cross culverts on Millier Street project. That's on Luther Dupre Road. So that was done all in the last week and a half.
So what's left out there, Mr. LeBron? What's your percentage of drainage projects parish-wide that's left out there?
We've got, if you look at the list, we're gonna be moving on with the projects that were approved last 2 weeks. We got Phillips Street. The calls were delivered yesterday for Phillips Street and for, Cindy Street. And then also we're working on the right of ways for the outfalls at the, in Ward 2 from Ward 3, from Mr. Charles. We gotta work on the right of ways for that. So that's gonna be our next concern, those 2 outfall cleaners in those Cindy Street and Phillips Street.
Oh, I can understand. You talking about stuff that was approved last week. 403 was approved last year, and you still haven't finished that job yet.
That's and you're right, Chris, that's actually not, that was not a drainage project, that's a road and bridge project, but you're right, that it doesn't fall under this list, but, I've talked with Patrick and he's got to look, we'll try to see if we can move on that one for you too. We actually have a machine in the shop right now, we short an excavator.
It's gonna take a whole year to get to that project. Come on, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they did one side, they got to do the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, well, we did decide that first was given to us, that was an add-on that me and Mr. Carter went look at about a month and a half ago. So we actually completed the first part of the project, phase one.
The collapse cover they got over this subdivision, how far you along with that?
Where's that?
Mill Bridge subdivision, the collapse covers on last street. No,
Which street?
Mill Bridge subdivision, I get together with you after.
Yeah, I don't know any of
Yeah,
that.
we approved that a while back, we have to collapse covers. I get
I mean, you get to get with me on that.
yeah, I get together with you after.
Paul, is there a request you would like to make to the jury as it pertains to the outstanding drainage projects we have on the books? And a lot of time that you need your department to at least complete at least about 80 to 90% of these projects?
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if we could have a little slowdown of projects, a moratorium. I mean, there was only one on this list that was put on there. If we could hold them down to just one or two a meeting, that would give us a little chance to speed up. I made a ride on Supreme Road yesterday. They're starting to put out some more storm debris. So that's gonna have to be taken care of again. You know, people are starting, so that's gonna give us, we have to go back and pick up storm debris.
How long are we gonna pick up storm debris? I thought we had a deadline for that.
We had a 30-day deadline, and I didn't ask for an extension yet, but DEQ hadn't contacted me yet to close the staging area, so.
You just need to make one more sweep. You know.
Yeah, that's why I'm letting for people to put this stuff out, if we make one more sweep. But that's gonna take away from us doing our projects too, so, if the jury can hold to just one or two a meeting, we'll be good.
I don't think that's the request you need. I think the request you're asking for is time.
Yes.
Is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? What do you need to catch up to get where you need to be?
Oh, yeah.
At least a month.
Paul, did you hear anything back from DOTD on,
No, I did not, about the cross culvert at Terrio Street, I did not hear back, I'll call them in the morning.
So Paul, what you asking for is a month with not.
If
adding
possible,
drainage project,
if it's a non-emergency, please, if we
unless
can
it's
hold on for a
emergency.
month. If it's something where it's affecting somebody's drainage or water in their house, yeah, we'll get to it, but give us a little while to kind of catch up.
so in 1 month, you're gonna have this list knocked out?
No,
guarantee
no,
that, Jamie.
no.
So-
No,
so
Mr. Chair.
But I cannot guarantee that, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
No, Mr. Chair, no, man, no,
Well,
no.
all this engineering is not going anywhere.
I'm saying, I got a lot of engineering on there.
A lot of it. Mr. Chair, won't you help him out and at least give him 2 months, to at least get at least 85 to 90% of the drainage projects completed? And then thereafter, maybe May 1st or June 1st, we can continue to move forward, to buy him some time with him in his department.
I don't know if that's gonna help out any, Ron.
Give him a chance, man.
I make a motion that we don't add any new drainage projects for 2 months. Unless it's emergency to get a department a chance to catch up on projects.
Got a motion on the floor,
I'll second.
motion by Mr. Carter to not to request any drainage projects for the next 2 months unless it's an emergency.
I kind of motion,
Got a counter motion?
Yeah.
What's your counter?
I ain't got no time, project comes, it comes along. Whatever happens, happens. Like it always been, I can't see it for 2 months.
Based on Mr. Carter's motion, the project can come before the jury, it's just a matter the jury considers an emergency. or
Yeah,
not.
that's fine. That's
If
fine.
it's an emergency, then you will take care of it.
That's fine.
So,
Well, as long as it come back.
Want to withdraw your motion?
Yes, yeah, as long as we put it on the agenda for the fall now.
so motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Blanchard to hold all drainage projects unless it's an emergency, then we'll bring it up before the for the next 2 months. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn, motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Carter, meeting adjourned.
We'll call order the 450 Finance Committee meeting. It is 5 o'clock. Let the record reflect all members are present. First item, request approval to pay list of bills submitted through February 23rd, 2024. Included in your packet. Motion by Mr. Nakam, second by Mr. Bro. So, Mr. Bro is not on the committee.
Second.
Second
Second by Mr. Mathern. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Review budget comparison statement for major funds for January 2024. They're included in your packet.
Yes, no plan of action at this time, just for your review.
Motion
No action.
Motion.
No,
there's no action on it.
Item 3, discuss mosquito abatement budget, user fees, and consider approval of mosquito abatement standard operating procedures. So everyone was sent the options from the mosquito abatement director. I don't know if anyone has any questions for him. There are 3 options that he put forth to us. If you want to summarize them for us, Justin.
So as I wrote, the options for fee increase are increase of $1, which would be 2 total. That's the one I really don't suggest because we would have to cut out some essential parts of the program and it would limit us to being a true mosquito abatement district and we wouldn't be able to get grants, funding from FEMA as it relates to mosquito abatement or the CDC or the state. Option 3 is to go up $2, total of 3. I think we could sustain and possibly make some improvements as far as spraying different chemicals, higher grade chemicals. But it's gonna take a while to replenish the budget. And then option 4 is obviously, or option 3 is to go up to $4 total. And that is, we'll be able to get the most done. We'll be able to hire a staff member to do inspections. They'd be able to go do the trapping. They would take some of the overtime from employees that are spraying ditches after work. They would also possibly be able to do a couple of the spray routes. I'd have to come up with a job description for it, but it's readily available to take from somewhere else and present to y'all, and then hopefully we could hire somebody if we decide with that option. And I talked to y'all about maintenance. They were really good about it this past couple weeks. I put in a request to, get the machines serviced and fixed. And Brian and Aaron have been on it when it comes to that. And we've got all of them working except for one that is inoperable. So I do need to order another machine. I was just kind of waiting until this went forward. One way or the other.
And then the support guys, we've done everything we could with it. We know the computer board's out. It's pretty substantial cost when you start ordering those kind of parts, so I really believe I support him on getting a new machine where we can get it going.
It's just, with what we charge right now, we won't be able to sustain, Ms. Kim has told y'all that by the time we come to June, we'll be out of money, we won't be able to spray.
So I have a question for you on the $3 option, and I mean the total $3, $2 increase. You mentioned that trapping will get done on an irregular basis. Is that
So if
based
there's
on
no
the time
full-time-
of year, if it's needed to see if spraying needs to be continued? or-
No, it's based on my availability. I'm the person that does the trapping now right now. I do a lot of other stuff for this parish too. If I'm in the middle of something else, I might not be able to go trap that week. That's why I'd like to be able to hire an employee.
Well, you
to
had
do that.
discussed having volunteers do landing counts for you.
What's the question?
You had mentioned having volunteers do landing counts for you.
Yes, employees and volunteers.
And that would be included in this option?
That's gonna try to happen no matter what, because that's in the standard operating procedures that I drafted.
But, no, I'm not saying hiring somebody, but you've already said the increase of $1 to $2. that wouldn't happen in that particular option, correct?
It's still gonna be a threshold for us to spray, so if y'all wanna start spraying at the right time of the year, instead of just starting at east every year, we're gonna have to do the landing rates no matter what.
3 versus 4,
It's just hiring an employee.
more frequent chemical rotating.
You can
That's what we
buy,
need.
buy more chemical, better chemical. We can rotate it more because it costs to keep chemical on hand. It costs to keep extra chemical on hand, 2 different kinds of
And
chemical.
they get immune to
It
it.
costs to flush the tanks every time you switch chemical. Now, it helps if you're going from oil to oil, or water to water base, but you still have to do work every time you switch chemical. And you typically will spray like a cheaper chemical at the beginning of the year, and then when it really picks up, you spray something that's really gonna knock them out, and then you change again. And you don't build up the resistance like that. I was always told we wouldn't build resistance in this area, but we've never done any testing because that costs money and time. But
The concern that I have going to $4 is, I know the people that have contacted me are not even happy with
Yeah.
the current service that we're getting. We know we have to make changes. And I guess I just don't, I just don't have the confidence that we're gonna get to the level to say we're gonna collect $4 a month and our service is gonna improve that much. I wish I could have that confidence. I just,
No, I'm with you. I'm looking at option 2 for the $3.
Yeah.
And look, people.
What is one more?
You gotta,
what is
whatever
one more
happens,
dollar
you
if
gotta
can
spray
switch
it.
out the
I mean, you
chemicals
you
and
know.
buy a better product?
well, if we don't change it, oh, it won't be able.
No, I know.
Well,
But people want to bang for their buck. You follow me?
Yeah.
I mean, the last, I
They
think
don't
Monday, you
mind
could
paying
have
as
started
long as it
spraying.
works.
Sorry?
They don't mind paying as long as it works.
Yeah. And the
Right.
truck's out there 5 days a
But,
week.
but I
or
don't
4
think
days
we
a week.
will ever control the population
Oh.
as people want.
No.
We live in the
You
swamp.
never get rid of them.
Yeah.
No.
But it helps, but it helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
The
I
only
think
thing I
if
can
we-
say about option 3 is that you would be able to hire somebody to do the ditch spraying.
And that's
That
where
would
the
be like one of their
mosquitoes
main
are.
jobs.
That's where they breed, and that's where they.
That's the easiest place to get them because they're all in one
But
spot.
can that be done in the middle of the day?
That's when you do it.
That's when you
That's
do it.
why the guy we got
Yes.
doing it now does it after work, directly after
When
work,
you're
and
supposed to
he
do it.
stops at night.
Okay.
Well, we have all this all day long. I'll make a motion, we go with option 2. Up $2 and total $3 per month.
motion by Mr. Nakam for option 2,
Second.
and a second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay,
Did
but
y'all look at the standard
Yeah, that'd be
operating
a waste of
procedures?
money.
Y'all have any suggestions? On the operating procedure, do y'all have any suggestions or comments or?
I feel I've given my comments already to you, so I'm good.
Why not just go with option 3, and if it don't work, then we drop it?
Because option 2, the landing rate counts will tell us if we need to switch chemical or not. And at that time, if we need to increase it and the program has gotten better, then I'm okay with increasing it. Just going to the top level right now, I just don't have confidence that the program's gonna improve.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing is, Ms. Kim said we won't have enough money to hire somebody, which is fine. I'll trap like I've been doing, which is almost every week during the height of the season, but it just,
So in this
It takes
option
a
2, are
while.
you still considering, hiring part-time employees to do evening spraying?
it is being considered, but I just haven't moved on it yet because our guys, they say they're gonna go when they asked.
On overtime?
What's that? Right
On
now, it's on
overtime?
overtime. I mean, that's the only option. They work 40 hours and then,
Instead of pay overtime, you just hire one person to do it, instead of pay them overtime.
you can't hire one, but you need, I mean, we have 12 routes, so not everybody would get hit in the week. If,
we don't even know if there would be an interest. He would have to put an ad
yeah, I
out
have
to see
no
if we
idea.
have
And
people.
right now, we have 4 sprayers. They can do it in 3 nights.
I think if there's a cost savings by us hiring contract employees, basically part-timers.
There was when we did the equation,
I
it
think
was
it's
like
something that we need to see if we have
$10,000.
interest
I
We
in.
mean,
need
it
to
was
put
a-
an ad out there.
It
to
was a
see.
savings, but I just don't know that there'll be interest. So do I
Yes,
need to come up with a
people
job
might have.
description and get that approved first, or how?
No, let's just put it out there. I would
Well, you
suggest put it
gotta
out
come up
there and
with a
see
pay-
what kind
you
of
gotta
feedback
come
we
up-
got.
You gotta have a job description and a pay rate.
Yeah, I
You
mean, we
can't
need to
just
pay
put it
rate.
out
Right, but
there,
just
we
see if
wanna
we have
hire.
interest.
Okay. So what you gonna do, a survey or something like that? or what?
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
it's
asking y'all.
real easy to come up with a job description, the responsibility, it would be
Yeah, but the
too
pay
straight.
rate, so I don't know what y'all suggest, but people who are interested, they're gonna ask what it takes.
And they would have to go undergo the same background check as every other employee and
Yeah,
everything.
they're gonna be driving up.
They're driving our vehicles.
Driving our
So you got all that, drug testing and all that has to go in.
I think, $15 an hour is a good rate.
Oh, I will just say we pay contract rate for the community center worker, $20 an hour. I wouldn't go less than that.
Less than 20?
I mean, if we pay in janitorial
I
services,
think-
$20
The
an hour.
projection that Ms. Melissa did for me, I think was off of $20.
Yeah.
And I
And it was
was
still a
saving,
cost savings.
it was saving about 10,000 a year based off of last year's numbers.
We'll get some people to spray for that.
Yeah.
I guess so, I might go spray.
$20 for 4 hours a night, 3 hours a
All
night?
right,
34.
but listen, this program gotta be, we're going to ask people to pay more money. If all of you, we need.
That's why I put everything in writing. It was never written down before. If you read this, it's basically what we're gonna do. If it's not in here, don't expect it, but if
Expect.
it's in here, I'm gonna try to stick to it as best I can.
So effective date, we'll have to get with the waterworks next billing cycle. I don't know what the waterworks for the billing cycle is.
Yeah, I would think that.
Option 2 is gonna allow you to rotate chemicals, Justin.
What's that?
Option 2 is gonna allow you to rotate chemicals.
I think so. And if I can't do it like y'all want, then we'll come back next year. Chemicals cost, it depends on what we spray. Chemicals, the prices
You're gonna be able
fluctuate.
to spray the ditches.
We'll still be able to spray the ditches, just it'll be like it's done right now with
Running for 12 months, 18 months is what happened.
with the one guy doing overtime, and I can't tell you, he.
What's gonna be different from now?
What's gonna be different from now, we'll rotate the chemicals, will be main. We're gonna start spraying and stop spraying at the right times. Instead of just starting at an arbitrary date in April and ending in October. We're gonna have counts and we're gonna go up the traps. That's another thing, so nuisance traps are a different thing that would replace the landing rates. But they collect a bunch of mosquitoes, too many for me to count. That would take somebody else to be able to set those traps. The traps I set aren't that bad. You might get 500 at the most in a trap. I can sit there and count that. I can't count thousands of them, but if you see a trap like that, I don't even put those up, the nuisance traps. I just don't have time to do it.
And also keep the program alive. I mean, without the increase.
Yeah, without the raise at all, it's,
If it doesn't work, might as well cut it out.
Well, we're gonna have to because it will.
Nobody wants to pay for something that don't work.
Exactly. But the truck had to be out there, not be sprayed.
Don't adjourn.
So.
Um,
How are you gonna
But
convince
I'm
people to
need-
pay an extra $1 if they're gonna pay $3? And you're gonna ask them to pay $4 if it ain't working at 3?
just Bull would allow me to be able to hire somebody else to help, which,
We need something that works.
Yeah.
And if you think 4 would make it work, this jury needs.
I
to
think
know
another
4.
person would help.
We need something that proves. If it don't work at 4, we just cut it out.
I don't think we have enough justification to go ahead and justify that to the residents of this parish at this time. And I know they probably don't wanna pay the extra $3 as it is, so.
There were
And I
changes,
understand what you're saying, but
there were changes made this past year where the driver was spraying dry ditches. So that's been corrected. So just that in itself is gonna improve the program.
All right, you got a motion.
I think you passed it.
It passed.
You passed it.
Okay,
Kim had one
I just want to bring this out to you all. It's not on the agenda, it's not an action item, so we can maybe talk about it at a later meeting. But Paul and I have been discussing this lately, and I brought this up last year, but we were asked to just not, we would address it after the election. Well, it's after the election. And Paul and Carol were working on this water meter rectification study. They're coming across a lot of the houses, trying to get everything on board. We're finding a lot of people that are exempt, that should not be exempt, yada, 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 as we expected, so it's working. But we're also, again, I just want to point out to you about the freeze that we have on the accounts. We have several people with freezes, and the jury approved that, and we understand that, but if the jury is not, we'd like y'all to reconsider, if you're gonna keep the freeze in place, then we think people should be able to, not be able to, be required to recertify every year. What's happening is people, a house is being frozen and those people are passing away and the structures are being passed on to family. And those people should not be exempt or frozen.
That's right.
I agree.
So at a minimum, can we at least talk about this more lengthy at another time and require an annual recertification?
Let's put it
At a
back-
minimum.
let's put it on the next
Put it on the
agenda.
next agenda,
What
yeah.
we'll do is we'll get rid of the freeze completely.
Yeah.
And then
everybody
make
will want it
everybody
Make
get
applied.
everybody
everybody, that's right.
Okay.
That's the right
I
thing
think
to
there's
do.
like 1,600 people that pay below the minimum, that pay below the, they're like, some pay $14, $15, $16 for trash fees.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
So I mean, okay, I'll put it on the next agenda.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Alcorn, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
It's 5:16, we'll get the personnel committee meeting started. All members are present. Item number 1, request approval to end probationary period for Rietta Bro, branch coordinator, effective March 2nd, 2024.
Yes, Ms. Rietta is, working out just fine. She still has a long way to go, of course. There's a lot it is a lot and there's a lot to be learned. I do think once as she continues to work with the program and get exposed to more, it's gonna just get better and better. And again, I just thank y'all for y'all patience because it's a lot and it takes time, but I do recommend the end of her probation.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Palmer,
Second.
second
Crochet.
by
I keep calling her.
Nakane. All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Well, you got bro on the paper.
Motion
I
Is it
know,
bro or is it
I
crochet?
keep,
It's crochet,
It's
but I'm still.
wish she
a pro.
was a
It's
pro.
bro
with it.
All right.
That's my fault.
Item number 2, discuss overtime for employees.
I put that on the agenda. That's something that we had talked about a few years ago, and I think we kind of got away from it. I think that each department head need to use the discrepancy on overtime. When it comes down to drainage projects, road and bridge projects, if it's an emergency, I think, Paul, you should be the one making authorization. If it's an emergency, you need to use overtime, but if it's not, then do it on regular time. There's too many people working on Friday that should be off on projects that don't need to be done on overtime. And, same thing for the rest of the department heads. If y'all need overtime, use your discrepancy, because we don't need to be paying overtime what we don't have to.
We do have a current policy that states that overtime should not be, performed or worked without supervisor approval in advance. That's how it's supposed to.
So Paul, you approving all this overtime? How's it coming to you?
It comes out of request, most of my overtime out of approve is on a Thursday when the foreman will say, are we working tomorrow? And I usually tell them, yeah, we can work tomorrow, any type of drainage project, to catch up on drainage projects.
No, overtime should not be used for catching up.
Then, yeah, point taken, it won't be utilized for drainage projects anymore. That'll just put me back a little further on getting some of these projects done. But that's, I saw what you talked about with the budget, so we just try to do that in a 40-hour work period.
So you need another month?
No.
I'm just asking, he said he's gonna push it back.
We're gonna see what we can do in a 2-month period.
We extending the olive branch to try to help him so he can catch
No,
up.
we'll see what we can do in a 2-month period. We just won't work any drainage overtime on Fridays.
But the drainage overtime comes off of their drainage fund, or comes off of the general fund?
Comes on at whatever project they're on, it comes out of that project.
That's right, so what should make a difference to work overtime or not? If you
Oh, it
approve
makes a
the
lot of
report,
difference,
it makes a lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so.
When you quote the project, you quote overtime, you quote regular time.
Regular time.
Regular time.
So we're not getting change orders,
Oh.
not change orders, but.
Overage increase.
Overage increase.
There's.
Change orders are only for materials.
I've been change orders.
Yes,
Overage
but,
increase.
but to calculate, I'm not gonna say there's no way, but we really would it would be so labor intensive to be able to track the men's time and how much for each project and to calculate whether that $100 he allocated was over or under.
Right.
We'd be wasting so much manpower. doing
I
that.
get that.
So we don't track that like that.
But maybe just when you calculate each job, calculate that time and a half.
You won't get much work done.
Yeah, you good.
Each employee
That's how
makes.
you
the
sell-
sake-
That's how you sell them cars.
For the sake of budgeting. For the sake of budgeting, that's all.
So what I'll ask is on the projects that you do authorize overtime for emergency, track it such that whenever we request to see what projects would be done on emergency, that we can have access to that.
Okay, well, from now on, it will definitely have to be an emergency for it to be on a Friday. I'm just gonna be now from there's no overtime on Fridays. That's it.
And you can always bring it to the jury and give you a report on why X, Y, Z had to go into overtime based off of this need, and it is what it is. Bottom line.
Man, I hate for them to stop the project, though. It's, you know,
Mine, if it's something that's
Myron,
emergency that they need to be
you
done,
got it.
Paul will make that call and do the job. But if
Myron,
it's-
the reality is we can't continue.
We
as
can't
we're going.
continue because we eating the money.
Gotta
And most of the
change
time
something.
with some planning and instructions, you can make it happen.
With planning, the proper planning and the scheduling, it can work.
All right,
We're gonna be out of money in the fund.
okay.
Ready, Mike?
Go next one.
All right, item number 3, request approval of amendment of section 7.5 to the personnel manual.
Yes, I was presented this, with the Road and Bridge, from the Road and Bridge, administration because, they wanted to, put this zero tolerance in place for the drug and alcohol policy. And it basically states that, we adopt a zero tolerance policy relative to alcohol consumption. Any employee who tests and records a positive result for alcohol consumption shall be subject to immediate termination.
Motion for the amendment?
Motion by Mr. Ponville,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion pass.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn by
Second.
Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Ponville, all in favor? Motion, meeting adjourned.
Alcohol.
We'll go ahead and get started with the road and bridge committee meeting. Let the record reflect that all members are present. One item on the agenda, update on the road overlay program. I think Mr. Brain is here.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Office compiled, I don't know if anything was sent from our office as far as emails or whatever, but, it's basically, project update of all the items that's consisting, in dealing with our office. Update for the road overlay project, the 23-24 asphalt program construction is underway. The contractor began work in Ward 3 and is currently working in Ward 1 and will progress into Ward 6 and 2 within the coming weeks. We are in daily contact with the contractor and have been updating the road and bridge chairman as work progresses. All streets that were being paved has been completed, but are still waiting testing of the asphalt, completion of the shoulder work, some dress work on some issues in Ward 3 that needs to take place. Contractor's aware of it. We have in daily and everything's, he's gonna job satisfactory. All streets, all streets will be inspected by the engineer and representatives before recommendations for final acceptance by the owner. Daily inspection logs are being kept by Mr. Bryan for record by the engineer's office. Updates will continue as the work progresses, but that's where he's at this moment. He's in, Ward 1 on Ideal Street. That's where he's at right now, doing rough patching.
How much more work do y'all have left in Ward 1? Is this your last street or what?
No, sir, we still have, B and H.
Yeah, Patty was taken care of.
Patty's
Well,
done.
yeah, the
Dags, we still have to go back and do some dress up in Dag Street. And like you said, we're currently on Ideal doing rough patching. The roller went out today, so they kind of have to shut everything off a little bit earlier today, but, they should be back out there tomorrow and try to finish out the week without, weather permitting.
For good weather, y'all should be moving to Ward 6 in about a week.
Actually, I think we're going to 2 next, sir.
The 2?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 could be 4, 6. There you go.
That ain't what I was told by Joseph. I mean, you jumping all over the place.
That's according to the contractor schedule. That's how they have it laid out on their schedule.
All right.
Yeah, prior discuss was 3, 1, 6, whatever, but I don't know what changed as far as contractors end of it or whatever, but that's where he's talking 2 and 6 or.
No, you never shared anything with me.
Yeah, can y'all get us a schedule? Can y'all send us a
I
schedule?
can get with the contractor and see.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
go.
good. I send that out, the email, because
Send it to
I got
everyone.
people that's calling me, asking me about repairs, and I'm telling them within a week or so, and I'm finding out something different.
We'll send the finalized list that was approved by the parish and the contractor's work schedule. coming up works good.
Everything is complete in Ward 3?
No, he said he got some dressing up work to do.
So is that dressing up, that's Elaine Street? I know there was an issue with the.
Exactly.
So
So-
what's the story on that one? Cause
Why it took place, the way it took place? No, I mean, they didn't run a string line. They didn't do different things. They were trying to freeboard off for the driveways or whatever, because, M-Track, the contractor, said that that's a common practice now, how they do it. Joseph had multiple conversations with them that's not gonna be allowed. So I think he's aware of that situation now, speaking of the contract or whatever. And he's gonna amend his procedures with the patching and the first base course, I guess that you would say.
Did y'all have an inspector on that job?
Yeah. So,
And I was indicating to them as I was seeing it happening, I was like,
we was informing them that.
it needs to be straightened up.
Yeah.
And they were telling me it's the natural flow, and it's the natural way the road kind of flares out in certain areas and where there's really no shoulder. But I was still addressing, I was like, you guys need to be popping string lines, and need to be painting where your screed's gonna end on the side of the road. So I've been making note of it. I'm out there every day with them.
You do a lot of inspections?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I take pictures. I notify Joseph whenever I see issues, and I've addressed it with the contractor, just the inconsistency of some of the patching. It looks like different crews did the same, I mean, within the same day. I'm like, this looks completely different from what you did 50 feet back.
so I know, Chris, you mentioned you want them to come to Ward 6 fast. If we can't get them to finish what they started in Ward 3, I think we really need to evaluate, do we allow this contractor to continue? Because he's not addressing the problems as he goes.
You don't need to continue.
He's just
on.
gonna, these problems are gonna increase. He's thinking he's doing a great job, and the engineer's telling him, no, it's not. But it's not getting addressed, and he's still moving, going to other parts of the parish. If this contractor is doing a bad job for us, we need to stop before it gets too far down the road.
Well, and I think how it's ran is he has a patching crew and then a paving crew. So I think what he's doing as far as where he's going to these wards and he's hitting them, he's doing rough patching on those particular streets, you know. And then you have your paving crew that comes back later and does your finish patching or your overlay of the road itself. So I think that's why when he says I'm going to ward here or ward there, he's dispatching the different crews that he's utilizing for the different phases of the project.
I understand, it's just
Y'all keep in mind,
The
we yet to
issue-
finish Lee Drive.
the issue in Ward 3 is over 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
Chairman, I'm asking you to follow up with the engineer and see. His opinion 2 weeks ago was that the repair job that was done was not satisfactory to him. And it hasn't been addressed since.
Correct.
So
So
we
why
need to hold this
continue
contractor to it before we go
allow
to
it
new
continue?
roads.
Mr. Sabah and I have been in, communication. Yes, he did talk about, what happened in Ward 3. He is scheduling a meeting with the contractor, so we can discuss those corrective, actions and to get it right. So I'm on it, and, we will make sure that we stay on the contract to make sure he provide the best service that he's supposed to, because he's getting paid for it. So we'll stay on top of it. All right?
Let's make sure we have this as another agenda item on our
We can
next
put it on the
meeting.
next agenda for the next meeting. Fine.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
What?
We ran into this issue previously. So when we doing the road overlay programs and we have speed bumps in place, they're taking them up and putting them on the side. Effectively, we had this happen somewhere else where they just stack them up. Who's responsible for reinstalling those speed bumps?
Last time for the other program, it was charged back from the road contractor because he did not replace the speed bumps. The money came back to the parish, and then it went back to Road and Bridge and Justin, where we paid the Road and Bridge employees to reinstall them again. I did see it today on Ideal Street. Half
That's what
of
I'm
them, I
pertaining.
saw it with my own eyes. Trust me, I'm on it.
And then it may also help Justin if we plan on overlaying a road. and we continue with our speed bump program. Let's not put speed bumps down until the road is overlaid, and then we can go back and put our speed bumps down instead of putting them down and pulling them back up.
Understood, but all the roads that got overlaid, where that happened, the speed bumps are already in.
I'm just,
And the juror went back and said, hey, look, I need to.
I know you noticed it on our deal, and I did, so I'm raising a little concern.
If you need the road rough, you don't need speed bumps.
I'm just,
Don't do that.
Gotta pop the line.
So, for road and bridge, if there's any cross culverts that needs to be changed out prior to
Yeah.
relaying the road.
Well, that should be in the specs of the design based off of what you presented, right?
Should be.
Yeah, you got a road that has a
Said it
cross.
should be.
Oh, yeah,
Should be.
What you got?
So what's gonna happen with the speed bumps they pulled up, because they're expensive, they're over $200 a section. And a bump could have 10 sections in a single bump. And they're reusable, we just need to order more
Hardware.
anchors and bolts for them. But like, is somebody gonna deliver them back to the yard or not? Like last time they were.
I have a report for you at the next
They
meeting.
should be picked up.
I have a report for you. I saw it with my own eyes today. I have a report for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right? Thank you, Justin. Any other questions for,
Motion adjourned.
motion to adjourn by the chair,
second.
second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor?
All right.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion, meeting adjourned.
All right, we call the engineering grants committee meeting to order. Record reflect all members are present and also all jurors. First item, update on project status and funding sources by GIS, Mr. Lusky.
Good afternoon, jury. I got three things on here. Number one, last meeting, we talked about the CPRA annual plan comment period. That was transmitted, Ms. Torres. And so that was in reference to the Amelia levy project being added to their CPR annual plan. So that is being considered. So that was done and is checked. Number two is that the Corps of Engineers they're having their Lower Mississippi River Comprehensive Management Study. It's gonna be held, it's a public scoping meeting, and this is done periodically so it encompasses the Mississippi River and tributaries limits. But this particular lower region of Mississippi River runs from Missouri all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. But it is important because they're talking about flood risk, navigation, ecosystem, restoration, water supply, hydropower, not so much that, but right now, and then recreational uses. But it also is considering and discusses inside of that the old river structure, where right now it splits from 70-30 Chafalaya and Mississippi River Chafalaya. So every year they consider or look at adding more, changing the flows one way or another. And Mr. Chip Klein with us talked to the port director in Morgan City, Mr. Mac Wade. And they will have, this meeting is March 7th at the Municipal Auditorium in Morgan City from 2 to 4, and then a second session from 6 to 8. So it's the same meeting, just held two times, two different periods that day. It's recommended that you guys show presence and just in support of projects that should be done here before, if they would send more water, or what's the trigger for a Chafalaya. All this is definitely would have impacts one way or another on Assumption Parish. So that is recommended.
Send us an email with that.
Okay, yeah, we'll do. All right.
So Lusky, how would it affect us? That's what we need to know.
Well, it depends on what would be done or what's considered. So this is just a study period, but if you go in there saying, recommending that we do improvements here, you send more water, what does that look like, right? Probably not good. Or, give us the MR&T levy, give us some protection for surge. If it rains and you have surge, we know what happens. So, just some of these things on public comment, there is a comment card to fill out. And that way it goes into the Corps of Engineers, study for this period. And
That was, what you're talking about now, that was on the news last night.
Yeah, 5 years.
In New Orleans.
so they're doing a road show, right? And it's
Yeah,
going
so
from
they do it.
Missouri all the way down to the
Right.
Gulf.
Yeah.
So this particular one is the closest region and most impactful being in Morgan City.
They got 25 million for 5 years to do a study of the Mississippi Delta, then bring it back to Congress and come up with a plan.
Correct.
But the goal is to see how it's gonna affect all the areas in South Louisiana whether they open up the Morganza or let the water go through the Chafalaya, all kind of things, so yeah.
I
So,
wanted
yeah,
to
so they
make-
got a
I just
roadshow.
wanted to bring that up so you guys, everyone aware of it. More public comments, the better always. And then, lastly, just wanted to give everyone an update that, or a reminder that, session is going on now, but the session with House Bill 2 with capital outlay begins on Monday, March 11th. So, we need to get back focused on the capital outlay request and kind of revamp what was submitted and start working with our legislation. That's my report. Any questions?
Thank you. No, just get it that email on the dates.
All right, will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Second item, update for our grants coordinator, Mr. Ray Etta Crochet.
Good evening. Pottenville Drainage, we received concurrence in real estate closing from FPNC on Thursday, the 22nd. They're in a process of cutting a check for the land purchase and match funds were requested. Water sector program, I did reach out to Baton Rouge about the property acquisition and she's supposed to be calling me back in the morning. Plans and specs were submitted to DEQ and LDH. However, I received an email from Ms. Tracy Watts stating DEQ said they didn't receive those plans and specs. And I reached out to Brian with Infinity and he will be contacting DEQ tomorrow. And I think that's it.
And then with the water sector, project, we discussed the meeting yesterday morning, just a little update from.
What about the line items? All your line items on here.
Oh,
Request approved for president sign CA.
All that, yeah, was for.
All right. We need action on every one of those.
I assume.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we need request approval for president to sign CA for Louisiana Watershed Initiative Round 2. We do all line items.
Make a motion.
Let's do all four of them together.
Yeah.
Request approval.
Three.
Three.
Four.
All right, I see four. Anyway, request approval for president to sign local government assurance regarding the gap in CWEF. And also request approval for president to sign DOT permits for water sector program. All right,
What is the CEA for the watershed initiative? What project is that?
that was sent back in December after Megan left. We had uploaded all the other documents, and somehow that the CEA was not submitted.
What's the project?
That's
St.
the,
Vincent.
the St. Vincent, yeah.
any other questions? Motion by Mr. Matheny,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed, motion carries. Discuss the additional funding needed for a Platteville drainage project for the loss of sugarcane revenue, the sum of $23,044.33.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I put this on the agenda. This is part of the bill of sale, for the Platteville Drainage Project. We do have, allocated funding from GOMESA GOMESA funds that was already awarded to the Platteville Drainage Project. So I'd like to request approval to use those $23,044.33, to apply to the, Platteville Drainage Project for the lost sugarcane revenue.
Is that an additional 23 allocation or a part of what you already
That's a
have
part of what we already have in the act of sale.
that you're not gonna use?
Yeah.
No, that in the Gomez allocation I'm talking about. Is something it's part of what's already been allocated, or is it a new allocation of funds?
It's a new allocation of funds because we already,
Everything else is committed.
and yeah, everything else is coming.
Well, didn't you have a contingency in that program, in that?
I did, but I don't remember the numbers, but I was just gonna, it's only 23,000.
They got any funding in their drainage district?
Say what?
Drainage district.
I only have like, maybe 30-something thousand, but no, I'm gonna use it out to GOMESA. Use it out to GOMESA funds that's allocated to the project.
to the funds that are already allocated to the
Yeah,
platinum drainage.
yeah, the
project.
funds that's already
not a
allocated
new
to it, yeah,
allocation.
wanna use those funds. You
It's
follow? me?
already
It's not a
allocated.
new allocation.
No,
No, it's not a new.
I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. I'm sorry if I
Existing
misunderstood.
funds that's allocated.
Existing, that's not being
Existing
used.
fund, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you, man, thank you.
All right, so entertain the motion to use existing funding for the Gomez project.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Dean. Second by Mr. Brewer, all in favor?
So the
Opposed?
project came in under budget?
No,
Motion
the
carries.
project didn't even go out to bid
No,
yet.
it didn't go out to bid.
How we
yet.
know that what's already been allocated is not
We gonna be fine.
committed?
We'll be fine.
We don't, okay.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
All right, next item, update on fire hydrant project.
Hold on, before we move on,
You got something else for you?
from the Water Sector Commission meeting that we went to yesterday, we were informed by the committee members that there is a process that we can apply for additional funds since our engineering estimate from Infinity was almost twice what our estimate was that we applied for the grant. As of right now, they have about $43 million of funds that are set aside for additional funding for other municipalities. Yesterday Lafayette was there, Denham Springs was there. Several municipalities were asking for additional funding for increases in their project. They increased the scope of the project, but we didn't ask for additional funding. So, what I'd like to do is make a motion that the jury, apply to the Water Sector Commission to, request additional funds for the increased estimate of the project, at the same ratio of what we applied to, for the project. And what that was, we had a 49% match put up from ARPA funds. They provided 51%. So I'm asking for the, that additional that we have allocated from ARPA, that we can, if we receive these additional funds from the water sector, then we can deallocate some of those ARPA funds towards the sewer project. That amount that we'd be requesting is about 1.3 million.
Let me ask you, Ryan, do you know for that sewer project on Virginia U, is a backup generator included in that?
Yes, I thought I saw it on the plans. Let me,
Just take another look at it. If it's not, then.
we have to include it.
We include that in the additional funds request.
Right, so there was one project, Grizafi, that sewer plant was omitted from the application.
Correct.
So rather than us amending the scope again and delaying the project even further, because they're trying to get it done, that 500,000 for that is gonna come funded 100% by the jury and the ARPA. So that isn't included in that additional allocation. So we're not trying to change the scope. We're just trying to let them know that we've exceeded the original estimate that we were given. And we just like the state to put up a share so that the parish doesn't have to fund it 100%.
Just wanna make sure we got enough for the backup generator.
And that does not impede the process of continuing to, move the project forward.
No.
We're just requesting for some additional funds, right?
That's correct. As of right now, we can expect the Department of Health 2 months to complete the review on the plans for Infinity. But once that is done, this request does not hamper progress on the project whatsoever.
So is my understanding that, the engineering company might be somewhere between 92 and 95% completed with design phase of the whole, sewer system upgrade, from my understanding. So I think I talked to Mr. Carter as pertains to the property, for the U of Virginia. Has that amount, been set to where Mr. Calabro can start the process? Because, we're gonna need an act of sale, you're gonna need the, land title opinion. We don't need nothing to stop it. We need this to keep flowing. You know, so, I don't wanna say make it a priority, but let's make sure we continue to check the boxes, because when they're finished, the next thing we wanna be ready to go out for 30-day bid and make sure everything is approved.
So one question that did come up on that was the tie-ins and the survey for U of Virginia, since that's a new system. Should Infinity be doing the survey of who wants to tie into the system? Or is there another party that should be doing that survey? My opinion, it should be part of Infinity's scope to see who needs tie-ins and so that they can put it on their plans. But I don't know that that was ever discussed. Infinity was asking about that.
I think they did it. So you know where he's at. Infinity, don't.
Yes, they would have to do a door-to-door survey to determine what residents are gonna be connected to the system.
Chris, I think you want everybody connected.
Why wouldn't it connect everyone?
Yeah, why?
I mean,
I think you
It's a
have
federal
to
law,
have
too.
the
to.
law
yeah, why you
requires
don't
that
connect
everyone,
I don't
and
think
we
that
did a
is done.
survey before,
But just,
when Aaron was there, we did a door-to-door survey to make sure that we had the percentage of the community that wanted the sewer system. And we were well over that percentage. But from my understanding by law, once your community have that sewer system, everybody in that area have to tie in.
Okay, so y'all can follow up with Infinity to see, Infinity is the one that approached us about it.
so then there would need no survey.
Well, it-
Everybody needs to be connected.
Everybody need to be connected. Once the community,
So-
once the system is there, everybody should be connected to
But
this.
just before you move on, I had a motion on the floor that we submit for the request for additional
Authorize
funding.
it.
Yep. There's a motion on the floor that we, request additional funding is 1.3 million,
Correct,
$1.3 billion.
approximately one.
Approximately 1.3
I'll
million.
have the exact number whenever we submit
That's
it. to
out of the water sector program,
Correct.
out of the water sector program. Motion by Mr. Blanchard. Second. Who's second? Mr. Brogan, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Thank you, Ms. Crochet. Update on fire hydrant project?
Yeah, I did reach out to, Senator Price, the audience session right now. He's been working on it. He's also is under the understanding that the funding was extended through legislation. He's thinking that the money is still there. He's asking us to just hold on, do not close anything. Good thing about it is, they should be finishing up Thursday. They go back, they'll be off for another week and they'll be back into regular session. So, he has asked us to just hold on because the money still is in
All
legislation.
right. We're
So,
gonna hold on
so
with it.
just chill.
All right.
Can we use the hydrants meanwhile?
I don't know, I guess you can use, but you wanted me to give an update as it pertains to closing the books. Or if we could give the hydrants to the watershed, to the water plant. But he said, hold on, just hold up.
I can tell you, based on the construction estimate that came back, only half the hydrants would have been installed. The rest of the half of the hydrants would have still been basically put in stock.
So if they need them, let them use them.
It just, we needed the word from capital outlay that we could transfer that asset to the water works.
Close that.
Right now, we control that asset, as part of.
So
the
right
program.
now, if the water company needs them, do they use them?
That's not yet.
I wouldn't
I would wait.
advise, no,
I would wait.
because we don't have authority to release that. The grant's not closed out.
If they haven't been transferred, then definitely not.
No. Just wait a couple of more weeks, yes.
All right, update on Bell Road drainage projects.
Joseph said.
Belrose Lane drainage. Surveys were completed for the changing of the culverts along Belrose Lane and Tigerville Lane. Engineering has been in discussions with the Girard to receive the scope of work to focus on more of cleaning and enlarging the main outfall canal and its culverts crossings of the back road to drain the water away from the residents for more efficiency. Additionally, there are discussions taking place with the landowners of the property to assist the parish with the cleaning, which is the farming land that runs parallel or whatever to Belrose Lane itself. And once a revised scope and estimate is completed, it will be provided to the jury to amend, the project accordingly. So I think Joseph is having conversations with some landowners or with the Girard to have conversations with the landowner as far as, because we ran into this issue on the Bertrandville Canal where we went out to bids, done the whole thing, and while all this was taking place, the farmer actually cleaned out his section of the canal. So I think they starting maybe conversations in regards to that. I can have him give y'all a better update when he gets back.
I actually know more than that, so.
Yeah, okay, so there you go.
What I'm waiting on is, we need plans and specs so that we can go out for bid on this project.
Okay.
And, we have had a contract signed for quite some time now, and no work has been produced on this project since then. And, we're gonna have it on the agenda every meeting
Right.
for an update until we get the plans and
Plans
specs
and
to go
specs.
out to bid.
Brent, have y'all been working on the plans for this project?
Yeah, we have, you know, all the existing laid out, proposed piping and laid out, but we don't know if, or Joseph's in discussion or whatever, as far as size of culverts, can we do without and just leave open ditches in certain spots, being that if we can maybe slope to the bigger parallel ditches on the sides. So those type of things would still need to be finalized, I would imagine.
All right, anything else? You're still on top of it, we need to move, these projects don't need to get stale, you follow me?
We need an estimated, time, to get this.
To get the plans and specs.
Yes,
We need a timeline.
yeah.
Can I
Get
have
Joseph
Joseph give you a
emails that.
response to that tomorrow?
Yeah,
or-
Yes.
Please.
I don't want to misspeak or.
We don't want to drag no feet, you follow me?
Oh,
We
no,
can't,
no.
no dragging feet gonna happen.
I understand.
If you can't do it, just let us know, we'll move on,
I
you follow me?
The effort that's mentioned on here was done basically a year ago. All of the surveys and stuff of the existing.
Yeah.
So we
Nothing
just-
has been
we just Put
done.
this together within the last day or so.
Oh, right, there's no new information on here, I guess, is what I need to see plans and specs. The plans and specs for Michael Jolamar are done now. They're out the office.
Right,
This project's next on deck. We need some plans and specs.
I understand.
What's the priority of it, please? All right, thank you. Update on, Ag Center roof project?
That particular project was awarded to Jet Set LLC. A pre-construction meeting was held with Joseph and the contractor and Mr. Brian Blankenship. Currently, scheduling of the project is being coordinated around some events that are taking place at the Ag Center. Was asked if we can kind of, adjust the calendar or the contractor's calendar in order to still hold some of these events. Joseph discussed as far as, well, we ought to be able to just barricade off around the actual concession building itself. I don't know what was the outcome of it, but from what I know of, is the contractor he's sending in submittals and he's ordering materials. Try to push along the process. That way, when I guess he gets the okay to go ahead and move forward, everything will be on site or delivered to site and he can get started.
So we don't have a
So we
start.
did already.
No, we have a start date.
Yeah.
Brian, do you know the start date for the Ag Center concession stand
It
roof?
was supposed to be April 5th.
No, it did not get
They get
pushed.
pushed back.
Not as far as I know.
That was the pushback date?
Yes.
Yes?
Accommodate, I guess. All right, that's it on that one.
That's what
All right, next item, update on Tacopah Landing project.
Our office provided a final punch list to the owner as requested. There are several deficiencies noted, such as the concrete cap and placement of material behind the bulkhead. These items and substantial completion of the project are currently being negotiated between Parish or the owner and the contractor by legal counsel. Contractor is still working on some of the outstanding items such as camera systems, but in the last day or two, those systems is completed, right? And the project is currently 500 days over the allowed contract time.
You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I think we have to go into executive session on, communications from legal counsel.
Motion.
Motion to go to executive session by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Plant to go to executive session. Discussing some legal matters. All in favor? Opposed? Everybody's here? All right, we got a motion to, re-enter, regular session.
Second.
Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, update on Tacopar Landing.
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion from the engineering committee to authorize the third-party engineer on the advice of outside counsel to produce a change order for the concrete cap work that needs to be done on site in the total amount of $92,689.
Motion.
There's a motion to the effect by Mr. Diaz. Second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Could you just add the funding source?
The
Go
funding,
Mason.
Go Mason.
Go Mason.
funding source will be Go Mesa funds.
And the next motion will be coming from the Secretary Treasurer.
Then, we need a motion, to pay app number 10 in the amount of $65,813.15 for the, contractor.
Motion.
Of record,
What's that amount?
$65,813.15.
Motion on the floor to pay contract to pay app number 10, $65,813.15. Motion by Mr. Diaz. Second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other, items on the tax part? All right, next item, update on courthouse renovation project.
Nothing to report at this
Another
time.
report. Update on Jolly Moore drainage project.
Plans and specifications of bid documents have been completed and delivered to the parish and GIS Engineering as the project administrator. Joseph is currently working with GIS Engineering to include the language required for the construction administration and to select the bid dates and the budgets for the project. Spoke with Mr. Lusky and, he's also requiring a schedule of values, more of a price cost breakdown for each particular material and item for the project instead of more of a lump sum project. So, we will be providing that shortly too.
All right. Update on Bertrandville Drainage Canal project.
The first phase or whatever, the plans and all that was completed and, that phase was canceled due to the landowner completing the work as I had mentioned before.
This is,
The former had cleaned out the canal and while we was out to bids or whatever.
this is old news right here. Bertrandville Drainage Canal Project, GIS is waiting for the designs and specs. I talked to Joseph after the last meeting, that was supposed to be delivered to GIS. So this project can go out for bid. We need to get those plans and specs to
Bertrandville?
Bertrandville.
Jacob, did y'all receive anything from Joseph?
No, Bertrandville.
I'll discuss with him and we'll supply all the information we have for it.
Next item, update on Gerald Street levy project.
Project is currently in the permitting phase. Joseph met with the Corps of Engineers on site to complete the wetlands determination investigation. We are currently awaiting the assessment report from the Army Corps of Engineers. Once received, he will prepare a recommendation to move the permit process forward. The wetlands determination will be included in the application to the LADNR as well. I think he met, that was last week. I think he met with the Corps.
Couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like
We're waiting for answers from them.
Can you find out, or just, maybe you know, since you're here to give us an update, how's he being compensated to participate on this project since he doesn't have a contract for it? Just,
I can't.
maybe just a question for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he can answer us in 2 weeks.
That's on Gerald Street, correct?
Yeah.
All right, update on ring levels in Bellport, Bell River.
A permit from LADNR has been issued. The Army Corps of Engineers calculated a higher acreage of wetlands impacts and therefore requested the parish mitigate these impacts or alter the design plans and reduce the impacts. The parish chose to alter the design plans and reduce the impacts. Changes were made to the permit drawings accordingly and sent back to the Corps of Engineers. The changed drawings were also uploaded to DNR to under the existing permit number, I'm sorry. We are requesting the same permit reviewers for DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers to expedite the process. Once the final permits are issued, the design plans will need to be updated before going to construction.
Same update we got 6 months ago. Nothing's moving.
I know, we had to give them impact as far as in regards to acreage. We downsized the actual borrow pits or, instead of going to the ring levees, we were going with the bulkheads. I'm sure you're aware of that.
No, sir.
Yeah, so instead of, with earthen levees on the ones that's gonna have the pumps and the pump platforms. Cause we had to get under 0.2 acres or whatever. So where the dry levees were, we were basically gonna leave those there. But where your pumps are, or the platforms are, we were gonna, stay with the platform, but reduce the footprint of not using the 20-foot wide, earthen levees and basically driving a pile and using a sheet pile.
So the last update that Joseph gave was that the dry levees, we was gonna do away with those, just
And have.
close them
Yeah.
and keep the earthen levees for the pumps.
Okay, well, my misunderstanding, because I thought we were gonna, as for where the dry levees were, or whatever, we were gonna have those, with the gates to be manually
There was
operated.
gonna be no levee there,
Right,
just a gate.
correct. And to my understanding that we wasn't gonna have the earthen levees at where the pumps were at, we were gonna put in bulkhead there.
First I hear of it.
I can double check. Like I said, I might be misspeaking, but, I'll find that out and I'll give you an update.
Tell them to email us an update on everything.
Yeah, sure
Something,
will.
something real, not
Sure will.
something that you did for the past few
Okay.
months, please.
Update on Lee Drive project to request core samples from CJ Southwell.
So, project is substantially complete. Joseph working on with the contractor to address the concerns posed by the owner at the specific culvert crossing locations. There are approximately 4 driveways tied in with additions at the end of the project that remain to be uncompleted. Once a date for these driveways to be installed has been set and the crossings have been addressed, we will update the project for closure. So I know he's in conversations with M-Track in regards to those particular culvert crossings, that was an issue as far as a dip or something like that. That's the update I can give you. I don't know what conversation took place or what type of scheduling is going on.
When do they plan on coming back, Brent? Do you know?
We can give you anything. We can get in touch with the contract.
Oh, when you come back and do other projects. It'll be right.
The deadline on this project, when is it? Do we have that?
June 30th. Should be June 30th. Should be.
I can verify and
I want to make sure, get them to also email me the driveway, the 4 driveway addresses. That way I can make sure that 2723 Lee Drive is on there as well.
2723. Okay.
And this contractor is doing more work in the parish and we're not finished Lee Drive yet.
How about the core samples?
We get to receive anything, Joe?
You have anything on that, Brent?
If they ever went back. Yeah. They hadn't been back on site.
They get update on that also.
How long we give with this?
Well, we ain't gonna get much longer. I'm looking at all these projects that keep kicking the can down the road. Whatever we can get rid of, we're gonna get rid of.
How long is this road? That you keep kicking the can?
No, we ain't gonna keep this can. They got several projects. We got no action.
Nothing.
No
Nothing,
action.
Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, this. We're gonna reevaluate this thing real soon.
Next meeting.
Update on Shell Beach Boat Landing.
Permit has been issued by LADNR and the Corps of Engineers. The parish is in the process of purchasing the property with grant funds. Once additional funding has been identified, the project can progress to design and construction. So in my, according to what Joseph has here, is be all in discussion as far as
We do have a
Purchasing
plan for
property.
that person, right?
Yeah, we're in the process of getting a title opinion right now for the property. Once that's done, we can, get the CEA signed with the state to the process. Is that correct, Mr. Crochet?
So y'all found that?
Y'all found it?
It had already been allocated.
It's already in there?
It just
Good
wasn't
deal, good deal,
documented.
good deal.
Yeah, we got all
Question
the
on
plans
for the title. Can you, man?
That takes a little while.
Say,
I know it took a while for the platinum bills,
We
right?
can ask
Takes a little while.
Ms. Crochet to follow up with the agent that's doing it to give us an update.
All right, any other items?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
thank you.
Thank you.
We now have the 550 public hearing related to creation of solar panel development regulation ordinance. Have any public comments regarding the solar panel development regulations ordinance? Second call. Last call. Let the record reflect there was no public comment during the public hearing. And so at this time, we'll begin our regular meeting of the police jury. All members are present. Please rise for the prayer and a pledge. God, who teaches us by sending the light of the Holy Spirit into our hearts, grant that by the light of that Spirit, right judgment may be ours, and that we may ever find joy in his guidance. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Request approval of minutes of February 14th, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nakam, second by Mr. Bro, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment period. At this time, we'll take public comment for any item on the agenda. Second call.
Mr. Carter, in reference to what you asked me about your project, on you, Virginia, I don't see anything that indicates that there was a generator included in that cost estimate.
There shouldn't be any public comment.
No?
No.
Okay.
Any other public comment? Last call. Drainage Committee report. Chairman Ponville.
Yes, the Drainage Committee meeting was held this afternoon. All members were present. Item number one, we discussed the drainage budget for 2024, and Ms. Torres is gonna have a cost sheet for us for the next meeting. We approved the culverts to be purchased on Parish Street. We approved the overage for the gate valves at 2911 Lee Drive. And we discussed, drainage projects. We're gonna hold off on all drainage projects unless it's an emergency for the next 2 months. And I'll present this all in the form of a motion, sir.
Motion by Mr. Pineville,
Okay.
second by Mr. Nakam. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Finance Committee met at 5 PM. All members were present. We approved to pay the list of bills submitted through February 23rd, 2024. Reviewed budget comparison statements for major funds for January 2024. And we discussed the mosquito abatement budget, user fees, and we did adopt the increase of fees from $1 per month to $3 per month. That will be on the next billing cycle with the water company, provided that they can include it on their next billing cycle.
Motion to accept.
Those operating procedures.
And we adopted the proposed operating procedures moving forward in the mosquito abatement program.
Motion to accept as read.
Motion by Mr. Pineville,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Personnel Committee report, Chairman Diaz.
Personnel Committee met at 5:16. All members were present. Item number one, we approve to end the probationary period for Ms. Rietta Bro, branch coordinator, effective. Crochet. Effective March 2nd, 2024. We discuss overtime for employees. And number three, we approve the amended section 7.5 to the personnel manual,
Which is the zero tolerance
Tolerance.
for alcohol.
alcohol. I present this all in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Mathern. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Road and Bridge Committee report, Chairman Alcorn.
Yeah, Road and Bridge Committee met this afternoon. All members were present. We only had one item. Received an update from, CJ Savoy regarding the development program. We will place this item back on the agenda to continue to give the jury updates as we continue to progress. And also try to, implement making those corrective errors, as pertains to the program. I just give you that item in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nakane. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Engineering Grants Committee report, Chairman Nakane.
Yes, engineering committee met, all members are present, the rest of the jurors. First item, we had an update on the project status and funded by GIS Engineering, Mr. Lusky. We had an update for the grants coordinator, Ms. Rietta Crochet. On an actionable item was, additional, request additional funding of $1.3 million for the water sector program.
Those are all.
Oh, okay, I will go back. Well, I still want to say that. Request approval for president to sign DOT permits for water sector program, which we will request additional funding for $1.3 million. Request approval for president to sign CEA for Louisiana Watershed Initiative Round 2. Request approval for president to sign local government assurances regarding the gap. And that was the St. Vincent project and CWEF. Discuss additional funding needed for the well drainage project for the loss of sugarcane revenue in the amount of $23,044.33 was coming out of the drainage project funds, which was Gomesa.
The existing Gomesa.
Existing
funding,
Gomesa
yes.
funds. Next item, we had several updates on the fire hydrant projects, road drainage projects, ag center roof projects, Tacopon Landing project, which we did order a, third-party change order on amount of $92,689 to the contractor, using existing, Gomesa, funding. Another item was, pay the bill or pay app, number 10, an amount of $65,813.15. We had update on courthouse renovation project, update on Johnny Moore Street drainage, projects, Bertrandville Drainage Canal project, Gerald Street levee projects, ring levee, Fairport Bell River, D Drive projects, and, update on Shell Beach boat landing. All in the form of motion, accept that report, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is public hearing report. We had no public comment regarding the solar energy farm facility standards for development. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the addition to the Assumption Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Subchapter F, Solar Energy Farm Facility Standards for Development.
No move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, request approval to send letter to CJ Savoy Consulting Engineers requesting the presence of Joseph Savoy at all engineering committee meetings held in the future.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Pineville,
Second.
Question. I should make sure we have transparency, send it to all engineers that are doing work in the parish. Don't require one, require them all to be here. That's all.
so we'll modify the motion that any engineer that has a contract with the parish be advised to be present at all engineering committee meetings held in the future. Motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Update on Pierport Natural Gas, Mr. Michael Saint Germain.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Yeah,
My name is Michael Saint Romain, Saint Romain with the R. Wanted to, I saw the agenda and it was a G, like a Saint Germain. Clarification.
You're Romaine.
Saint Romain.
You represent, Fairport Natural Gas?
Pierport Natural Gas, yes, sir. I think where we left off last couple of months ago, we were in the process of trying to get a contract so we can improve the 2 meter stations in the Pierport area. South Coast Gas has, I'd say, been pretty much worked hard on this contract, with our attorney. We pretty much rewrote the whole thing and, submitted, back to Enterprise Gas. And that right now, it is with their legal team. And that's the word I got from the local guy from Enterprise Gas. That's where we are.
Any type of improvement on any lines in Pierport?
No, we met with, well, we did do some improvements, on some of the, streets in Pierport. The last one of them, I think, was Dino Street. We tied that in. Because it wasn't fed from, I think, Highway 7, it was fed from another street coming back up. And so we got that done. I think that's gonna be a big improvement for that area. Right, we met with, an engineering firm and we're trying to get a handle on the big picture of our gas system. We did some things ourselves within our employees that we think we could solve it. But then when you meet with a firm that has experience with these type of situations, it seems to kind of grow on you a little bit. So we told him what we can about the Pierport system. We provided him everything that I think he needs at this time. We're in communications with him. So we're gonna wait for some suggestions from him and maybe we're gonna take it from there. And that's kind of all I can say. I don't want to get it because really, they don't know yet and we don't know. And I know that's not maybe what you want to hear, but we're all moving on it and
Well, if you do some.
we're trying to move forward.
If you improve some lines already, that helps us.
Yeah.
But, as far as that meter, no, not on that meter yet. You still working on that meter?
The meter station?
Yes.
No, we need a contract first. And, I really don't know. We need to work with Enterprise Gas. But I don't know why it would take this long. We had our, attorney send us an invoice, he's paid. That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
I don't know, why it's taking them that long, but, we're just waiting for a word and I'm in contact with the local guy. So when it's ready, we'll be ready.
If I remember correctly, wasn't there 2 stations that we were looking at with 2 different providers?
No, it was 2 stations, but they're both Enterprise Gas.
And one station was increasing capacity and the other was an additional tie-in, correct?
One, the station at Bell River, 31, wasn't quite working to its capacity, so that's the one we're gonna work on first.
We're gonna increase the meter.
Yeah, we're gonna increase, right, metering, regulation,
All the
everything, more
parts,
pressure.
all the parts are
volume.
in, the parts are ready to go,
Right.
correct?
That's correct.
Just waiting on the contract, so
That's
y'all
right.
can proceed with the project.
That's right.
Can Parish some letter, the company, see, update us, or?
I know you had a contact with Enterprise, right? Maybe reach out to him and see if he's aware or.
Trying to call me earlier, during the meeting. Maybe we could reach out to someone else above this guy, because I think he's doing all he can to help us out, so we just need to get to upper management.
That from the parish, need help?
I'll get you some information on it, Kim.
Okay.
So you can send.
They help them. We can help them get their permits and everything ready. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's the first step. Mhm.
Well, we appreciate
I
it.
guess my question is, when you have all that stuff, how quick can you move? If you got parts and stuff,
It'd probably take a couple of days.
oh, really?
Yeah, a couple of days.
Wow.
Mhm.
Waiting on months for a 2-day job, huh?
Months.
Right.
It's just a matter of time before it happens again.
Yeah, I know. Oh, hurricane season, right around the corner again. All right, we're gonna try
Are
this.
we working on the tie-in, by the Gator Corner? You still working on that scenario? Up Pier Park, the tie-in? Up Pier Park.
I didn't know. Can you help me, Greg? Yeah, come on. If you don't mind, come on in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the place you talking about, that's a different gas company, it's called Inlink. And we had contacted them and got like some ideas from them, you know, like price quotes and all. Also, we found out, Enterprise has a crossing right there about, Derrick Street.
By Derrick Street?
Yeah, so we, so first we're gonna try and improve the station we have. And if we gotta do that, we'll go that route later. But, you know, we also got the engineer working on, like Mr. Mike said, you know, like to study our system and see, you know, where we gotta improve it at, you know, as far as, running new lines or whatever you.
All right.
Let's just keep moving.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the update.
Thank you,
sir.
Mike.
Thank you.
We'll
Next
be in
item,
touch.
request approval and authorize president to sign CEA with Izan Real Estate Agency LLC and Stark Corporation for the LADOTD Parish Street project.
Yeah, I make a motion on that. That's the land where we'll put the culverts down for that bypass road detour. Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nakam. Second. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval and authorize president to sign CEA with STAT Waste Stream Services, Inc. for the Andreas Street Sewer Project in Ward 3.
I can speak on this one, Mr. President. This is just, they're doing a sewer project in the area. I think it's Bayou Lewis, Ward 3. This particular company needs a location for a short-term sewer tank. We have a piece of adjudicated property in the location, and to make the project more safe for the residents, we have authorized tentatively for the individual company to place the tank there short-term. That's what this CEA is about.
Any questions? Motion by Ira.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bro, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of letter of no objection for a project permit application with Shell Pipeline Company, LP.
Got it. Who reviewed it? Can't stop them anyway. Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nakam.
Second.
Who reviewed it?
I read this in by Lewis area.
I'm asking a question. Who reviewed it?
I sent it to all y'all.
So that's all. I didn't see any issues with it. It's a form of agreement like we've done in the past for these.
I know what we've done in the past. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, again, I didn't see any issues.
That's why I'm asking.
Motion by Mr. Nakam.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of proclamation declaring March 2024 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
I need that after this weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna say.
Motion by Mr. Nakam,
Second.
second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of proclaiming, of proclamation declaring March 2024 as Fair Housing Month.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve a can shake permit for American Cancer Society 4/6/2024.
Motion.
This is in Pierport. Motion by Mr. Pineville,
Second.
second by Mr. Nakam. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of occupational license for Studio 398, Iberville. Soul Creative Crafts, Napoleonville, Shockwave Generators and Electric in Houma, A&A Builders, Broussard, Rocks AC and Electrical Service, Morgan City, Direct Ports and Service, Metairie, Schlumberger Technology Corporation, Morgan City, Martell Johnson LLC, Platteville, Custom Realty LLC, Morgan City, Cruise Contracting Services LLC, Donaldsonville, Security Finance LLC, Platteville, Sage Construction LLC, Napoleonville, Handyman Thibodeau, Flywheel Specialty Services LLC, Baytown, Texas, Lifetime Roofing, Baton Rouge, Go Getters Gutters, Thibodeau, Dynamic Group LLC, Baton Rouge. And we have some additional ones, that were not included on the agenda. And,
Go ahead.
those would be Windsor Corporation, Plano, Texas, Joe's Septic Contractors, Cutoff, Malik Consulting, Inc., Pierpont, EDC Doss Electric, Maben, Mississippi, T3 Global Projects LLC, Baton Rouge, Geo Sport Lighting System, St. Gabriel, Posigen Developer LLC, St. Rose, M&L Engine, Streever, Jones Construction Solutions, Sandoval.
All right, that's good.
The list is long, but I believe
Yeah,
we
put some
made
pressure on,
contact
yeah,
with the,
yeah.
with the businesses to
Yeah, don't make.
get right with the parish with the occupational license.
Motion
Any
to.
motion approved by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Bro, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Any other business?
Somebody here from the Senate, from the department. I think Mr. Brewer asked for that.
We sent a letter, but no.
Didn't get a response yet.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Nakam,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed?